Welcome back, guys. Thanks for coming and checking out the next video. Jeremiah from Babbling in the Backyard. If you did not see the first part of this filter build, make sure you check that out up here. You don't want to miss the first part. It's going to make a lot more sense to see that than just jumping into this one. So if you're just jumping into this one, make sure you check that out. In this video, we are going to finish out the build of this filtration system. So let's jump into it. Over by the tank, I had to build up the space that this barrel is going to sit on. If you watched the previous video, I have a concrete step that I have the tank pushed up to because this used to be where a hot tub sat. So I need to build a space large enough that it's not sitting on half of a step. I noticed here that I'm not big enough, so I have to go up another 1.5 inches, so another 2x, and that's what I'm going to do. And now I'm clearing. So I had to go a little higher, not for these 1-inch lines, but I've got to pop another 2-inch line in there. I don't feel confident that these two 1-inch lines are going to be enough to get enough water out, because the amount of water that I'm pumping I think is going to be a much greater volume than these two 1-inch drain lines will be able to handle. But I will test that first. Alright, on the pump side, I'm going to come up with a 1.5-inch line and then reduce it to 1 inch before I go into the barrel. This pump is a decent sized pump. It should be able to move a lot of water, and that's what I want. You can see how dirty this water is right now. I really want to get it good, clean water when I have as much fish load as I'm going to have in this small tank. So now that I have everything plumbed over, reduced to 1 inch into the barrel, that's going to create even more pressure going from a 1.5 inch to a 1 inch. I've got a lot of pressure built up in that 1-inch line, and then I reduce the pressure by increasing volume in the 2-inch line. And then remember, those holes that are going through that system underneath really opens up the space, allowing the pressure to reduce even further. I really don't want a lot of pressure built up inside there. So remember I said in here that we weren't going to have any rock below the crate spot here. So what I got to do is start putting very large rocks on top of this crate. I put in very big rocks that don't fall down, and then I start reducing the size of rocks a little bit more, a little bit more. These rocks are pretty dirty, so it's a good idea at this point to clean out the system. Remember, I have this drain over here, so I can hose from the top and the crud will flow down and out. So next I'm going to add another layer of even finer gravel. In this case it's going to be crushed gravel, not river rock. So this is 3/4 minus. And then I'll add another layer of even finer crushed gravel. And this is like a 1/4 minus. Later on, if I'd like, I can add a layer of sand as well. That would really help stop some of the really fine particles. But already it's going to do a really good job. Alright, let's test to make sure that this is actually going to work. Already with that speed, I know it's going to fail. Yep, overflowing. It's not enough drain. So I'm going to turn this guy off. And I'm going to add that 2-inch line. So the 2-inch line was adequate and it worked. It got a little dark last night, so I stopped videoing. But you can see how clean this water is now, just going maybe like 10 hours. So 10 hours it cleaned this tank right up. So basically I've been running this system here for a few weeks now, and I'm going to go ahead and clean this guy out. So what I need to do is shut off the pump, and then I need to disconnect the line feeding to the barrel so I don't just pump back into the tank. I'm going to open the drain valve. Remember I said before that the idea was that the slowdown of pressure is going to cause the solids to sink towards the bottom and drain out. I don't know if we have enough solids for this to really happen much, but once it's drained down, the even cooler part is when I use the hose to rinse down the rock, the water will trickle through the fine gravel and run past the larger rock, washing some of the bigger debris down and then out that drain down towards the bottom. So it's basically just reversing the way that the filter works and trying to get rid of some of the more solids that the fish are creating with their waste. So we're going to keep rinsing this out until basically the water starts to clear up more. The water doesn't look too bad to start with. It's a little dirty, but it's not super bad. But we definitely see it get cleaner as I keep rinsing the rocks off. After I'm done cleaning out the filter, I can hook a hose up to the same outlet, and then I can fill the whole system up with this line as well. So basically the water's coming in here and it goes back into the tank, mixing with the tank water as it does so. Because I have city water, I do have to worry about chlorine contents in the water, which isn't so bad here in our little town that we're in. With this method, it actually mixes and goes through the bacteria on the rocks that as it comes through and fills up the tank. I do have this overflow, so I can't fill it too full and the fish can't jump out of this tank. So as it's filling back up after I clean out the tanks, it will only fill so far, which is good. So I mentioned bacteria. We do need to make sure that we watch the levels of this tank. Even with this filter just being in place, we should be putting bacteria in there, maybe even occasionally dosing it with some barley straw extract. Okay, thanks guys for checking out the video. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Hopefully you guys will be able to build this type of filter. If you guys liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We got lots of other how-to videos like that. It was good to see you. Thanks for coming and visiting. I'll see you next video.